What's the deal with UMass Dartmouth men's basketball?
Jeff Mackey. He is the pace setter when it comes to all-around play and intensity. Even though Jeff Mackey is not a big man, he plays big basketball. He is a buzzsaw. He's like a two-guard, but he's a buzzsaw on both sides of the ball. He can do anything on a basketball court. Maybe he can't dunk over, Shaquille O'Neal, but he can. He is like a spark plug and an abiding presence all in one. Now, the thing to know about UMD basketball is last year they were more. They didn't have the size they got this year. So even though they wanted to try to drive the lane last year, they found themselves relying a little more on perimeter play. This year, they won't have to rely on perimeter play. The question would be coming in is the point guard position, because you had Reece Freeman for stellar play for 4 years. Now you have 3 point guards who are seeing action, but this kid, Paul Rose, he
got the most of the minutes.
He got the most of the minutes. He scored 15 points in the opener, and I thought that he was pretty good handling the ball, and he got more comfortable as the game went on, and he's very comfortable in the up-tempo game. When things are chaotic, he's one of those athletes who's a very strong kid, strong core strength and balance, and therefore he can handle the chaotic moments of the game without losing his own sense of where he is and what to do, and dumbing it down to where it needs to be or ratcheting it up. So I love the way he plays, and I think that they got the kid there that they can really develop, and they get some depth in the position in cases they need it. So
the one thing though is with Freeman, he was a 4-year player. He graduated last year, and he had been with Baptiste, so he was kind of like a coach on the floor, and he was definitely the leader of that team. Rose is only a sophomore. Does he seem like he's going to be stepping into kind of a leadership role on the floor? Or?
Not in the immediate. I think that they have to change. That's a great question, Tim. They got a basketball mind over there, folks.
Great question.
What they're going to do is refocus a little bit. Obviously, Matt Walker is an offensive leader for them. This guy's playing usually the 4 position, and he can shoot from the outside. He can make timely, not in great numbers. Will he pull down a bunch of rebounds or bang glass? But in timely situations, he does it. But what they've done now is they added this kid, Lance Green, 6'7". He was at UMass Lowell. And this kid, he got really comfortable in the second half, and you could see his shot blocking game add a dimension. You could see the rebounding game. He doubled his rebound output in the second half, and he added 3 offensive boards in the second half of that game. And then he had a monster putback dunk that just sent the crowd to
he had 4 blocks too, right?
Which was like, it was an awesome game by him, and it got better as it went for Lance, and I think that this is really where UMD wasn't last year. So while they got a more developing situation with Rose in the point, they got more beef down the middle now. And while they always had the toughness to try to go through the middle, now they actually got some weaponry too. So, and he's not the only one.
Well,
and they got 2 injuries right now.
Yeah. What about their preseason All-America? What's his status?
Well, he's not ready yet.
It's Brandon Shelton.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah. Shelton is
did not play in the opener.
No, he was a DNP, as was VJ Devine, and so
But he's a guy that's preseason All-America. I think.
Yeah.
I want to say that it's only their second preseason All-America that they've had.
I don't know the history that well.
I believe so. I think he's only one of a couple. So, I mean, we're talking about a kid who, could well be one of the best players that they've ever had. So, I mean, this team just seems like it's – I mean, they went to the tournament last year, and, what a disappointing end it was for them, where they just couldn't shoot free throws, and they struggled with that in their opener as well. And that's going to – hopefully that won't be another issue for them this year. But – watching that game last year, I remember we were kind of huddled around, watching it on the computer because it's Division III basketball. It's not on CBS just yet. And just a really disappointing way for them to go out. And you hope that if they have replaced the point guard and they get everyone healthy with the additions that they have, I mean, they certainly should be heading back to the NCAAs, which is exciting.
It would seem like a gimme to me right now when I look at Johnson and Wales, for instance. Wasn't supposed to beat these guys. Everybody knows that.
They were pretty much like they were
opponent.
Opponent
Opening night tomato can. However, They shot 60% in the first half.
Wow.
And the thing I love about it is that UMD didn't panic as individuals or as a team from the bench on out or for anybody on the floor. There was no panic. They went to the locker room down 49-47.
UMass Dartmouth was trailing at the half?
At the half. They were down 2 points. And I think they gave up the first basket of the second half. But what happened was they just got a little more diligent under both baskets and just made things a little tougher for Johnson and Wales. And when Johnson and Wales suddenly wasn't getting the quality looks or the window of moment to make shots and see the basket, that's when UMD started getting the turnovers. And they started bringing up their own shooting. They went from 31% to 60%. So in the second half, so their game got a lot better, and Johnson and Wales simply couldn't cope with it, which wasn't a shocker, but it was a situation where they wound up with 20-point run, 30-point lead, etc.
Well, as much as they've got the tools to score the ball, they were also known as a serious defensive team last year. They brought in Ed Rodricks, former New Bedford High coach. He came in and he really worked with them on the pressure defense, and they were able to force, it was something like 24 turnovers a game. Yeah. And they were like plus 10.5. Yeah. So is this still looking like a team that's going to be a serious defensive team?
Yes. Yeah, cool. Definitely. And not just because Mackey is still there, and Mackey is probably their most intense, away from the ball player. But but they got several guys who are really good defenders, and they seem as a team already show signs that the way they turned up the press in the second half, and it wasn't just full court, all court pressure. It was situational kind of stuff, like meeting him, with certain, traps and things. And I don't even know it when I'm looking at it, but I can sort of see. I know much more about the left wing lock than I do about a trap in basketball. But
isn't it with a great. When you have a great coach in basketball, it seems like every great basketball coach, you see the greatness because his teams play great defense every year. You see it in high school, you see it certainly in small college, that no matter who he has on this team, you expect they're going to play good defense because they have a great coach, although he's had some high-scoring offenses as well.
And this looks like a team that can score more with more variety than last year. So assuming that Rose stays healthy and that they can push the ball the way they want, and that Rose continues to develop his game against as when you get into the meat of the season and tougher competition and those tests come along, that's your little asterisk for this season, because you got your other 4 stars back, plus you got this addition now,
Green,
and so when you got your healthy bodies back and you got a full team and then you play in the iron, maybe by then they'll have a better sample of Rose to really know where they stand at that position. But it's all positive at this point.